what's going on YouTube? I just wanted to give a little bit better view of the current loadout for my Minuteman kit. So right now, rocking the LBV 88 with Alice setup. Okay. I've already done a little bit of a lengthier video on a lot of the contents of what's in this kit, so I won't be necessarily going over that. More or less thought process and, you know, kind of seeing how everything looks, how everything fits. You know, I personally I love this kit. I've always really enjoyed it. You know, I can't have enough good things to say. Everything feels really even and distributed, you know, across my hips and my shoulders. Nothing feels out of place. You know, it's still a work in progress, but all in all, it holds everything I need, and it has the capability of adding a lot to it. Okay, because you know, sustainment is the name of the game, and you want to make sure that you're able to sustain yourself. You know, shoot, move, communicate, and medicate. So having your medical where you don't necessarily need it on one side, having it on both sides, or in a place where you can get it on both sides. Same thing with your mags, same thing with your water. All three of those things you got to be able to get to it with, you know, I got one arm, you know, pulling out my insert here, or pulling out my tourniquet, you know, whatever. And no matter the time of the you know, woodland, there's definitely a big argument to say woodland is not the best camo. It's definitely not. You know, M81 it's outdated to say the least, but I will say it's purely aesthetic at this point. So I have a lot of M81. It's in a lot of older surplus camo, as you can tell. Now that we're getting into winter, got the 6-color desert. Definitely my favorite camouflage or desert camo that we've done. Way better than tricolor, and you know, I do think it's cooler than excuse me, the Marpat or the Digi whatever it is, the AOR 1, is it? Yeah, AOR 1 or Marpat. I think there are two different things, AOR 1 and I think there is a desert Marpat, but this is definitely my fave. You know, my favorite thing about these shirts is that they're incredibly functional. They've got these two big pockets down here, and if you've ever worn load-bearing kit, you'll need that belt to ride around something, some haunches. It's like, for me, you know, I've kind of got a little bit thinner hips, not as big, you know, not as big glutes, so and then luckily I got these pockets full of just general stuff that I will go over here in a second. Just general stuff that I've always kind of needed, and you want on your person in case you got to strip everything down, you know, that baseline gear. But if you've ever worn this kind of stuff, you need to ride on something. So if you got if you got a big fat ass, some big hips, you're gonna be totally fine. This belt's gonna be really ride comfortable. If you don't have a big butt, you don't have hips, you're gonna need something for that belt to ride on in order for it to actually be evenly distributed. Otherwise, all the weight's just gonna be on the shoulders, and that's gonna kill your back. I've done that before. But these older BDUs have the big pockets in the front, which I'll show you here. We got the 3 buckles, top, middle, bottom. And so you've got the big pockets here. I think this is just general stuff. Little boo-boo kit. 2 body wipes, that, you know, 2 wet wipes. What else we got? Hand sanitizer. Looks like a little alcohol pad. more alcohol pads, and a lighter with duct tape. So nothing I would say critical, but if I don't have my kit on, or I gotta drop everything, I've got that baseline hygiene taken care of. Other side, I think this is a little bit more trauma bleeding. Wrapped in a bandana, looks like some duct tape, quick clot gauze, and some compressed gauze, or sorry, compressed, not compact compressed, just compressed gauze, all wrapped up in a bandana. Really, the majority of your bleeding can be taken care of with this. You don't need a tourniquet for everything, but it is good to have at least, I would say, well, you've got 4 limbs. Everyone should have close to 4. I think on this cat I've got 2 tourniquets, and you know, I would love to have, I want 2 more, so that'll definitely happen. But this helps the belt kind of ride on those haunches, and it feels super comfortable. I don't keep a lot in these. Emergency blanket. Emergency poncho. And yes, I do have 2 knives. I generally don't carry this little, I just wear this one around. Wear it around home, all that fun stuff. And got the soldier's knife in a pretty cool spot, because looking cool is important. On the side, handgun. It's actually, hold on one sec. And this is no mag, nothing. All right. Besides, these things are carried cocked and locked anyways, except flipping that guy up. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about it, because you do have the compressor right there. And at the end of the day, your finger is your safety. So, just to give you an idea, I didn't like this thing at first. One sec. Get everything buttoned back up, or clip back up. You know, one thing that's not the best. Hold on. There we go. So, cinch those down. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. So we've got our handgun here. Right there on the side. And it's surprisingly smooth. I will say I haven't used it with anything else other than my 1911, but really, this guy does the job. You know, and this is how it hooks in. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So the handgun works perfectly in there. It's not messed up by anything. Got the 2 mags right here. It's free to come out in one hand too, and be totally fine. Okay. Obviously, water. Remember, water on your pack, water on your rig, your load-bearing gear. That is your last resort water. That stays on. You don't drink that. You don't drink that unless you really have to. All right. And last thing on the back, obviously, the non-essential first aid. So you think that non-life threatening. We've got some medications in there. Nothing too big. And nothing major. I don't have any ailments where I need life like life-giving medication. Radio pouch. I'm still trying to really work out how to put my push to talk somewhere here, maybe here. I don't know. It's because I used to put it right here until I just put this knife on not too recently, or actually, sorry, I did put it on recently, and usually my push dog would hang out right there, and it's a pretty nice spot. So still kind of working on that, but for now it'll be fine. And on the side, a little flashlight, something that I can clip onto my hat. And I've got this, basically my headlamp versus actually having a headlamp, even though I've got one in my pack. And then a bunch of pens and markers, signaling mirror, another lighter, duct tape, face camo, put all that stuff back in there. I can get it in there. Another medical, pistol, medical, 6 mags. And on the LBV-88, the fast mag is right here. Sorry, I definitely struggled slightly to open that, more than I should have. But this is the fast mag, the single guy right here. I mean, like, for me, remember, it's got to be even, so this is your first, this is your second. Arrange that a little bit better, so when I pull this out, it's not the fastest way, but I want to remain even in the weight distribution as best as possible, and that might require that second mag to be a little bit slower. And remember, it's not always the guy who has the fastest reload that wins, so just take that for what it's worth. You know, pistol got 7 rounders right there for the 1911. I remember, historically, not every soldier has carried a handgun and a rifle in a battle. You know, for me, I'm a somewhat of a team leader, where, you know, does it really matter? It doesn't really matter as much for my handgun as it is the guys below me. You know, I can afford that cool factor just slightly. And this is what I had the most experience with. If you ever shot one of these guys, this trigger usually rides around like 3.5-4 pounds. So it's incredibly crisp. There is no uptake. It is finger on the trigger and hammer back and click, boom. There's not very much. You'll know exactly when it's about to go, and the reset is incredibly crisp as well. You know, it's a I can't say enough about the 1911. I am kind of a FUD in that regard. So, oh well. But hey, I'm sure the older guys watching this will Really appreciate this kit. Oh, and another thing, for the Minuteman, I decided that the appropriate path would just be khaki work pants for a Minuteman, because you're not a full-time soldier. You know, I think having the BDU, the combat shirt, you know, preferably something, I hate the freaking pockets right here. If you've ever worn the BDUs with the big, and you put a shitload of stuff in that pocket, taking something on and off is a pain in the ass. So I don't like the pockets here. Even if it's got the Velcro or whatever, you can still put Velcro on the shoulders here, which I'm gonna do. But I'm not gonna put pockets here. Not gonna do it. If I do anything, I'm not gonna do anything. This is what I call this shirt with the 4 pockets on it. This is a light smock. Okay, you know, your heavier smock would be a jacket form, like with the hood, you know, waterproof material, and a little probably bigger pockets and more pockets, and probably some molly on the back. I have I have a smock that I'll go over in the future, but having that capability of the pockets is key. But I think that's it for this video, really. I just wanted to give you guys a good view of it all. This is typically what I wear: ball cap, my sunglasses, some sort of face covering, and then since it is getting to be, you know, the leaves aren't quite coming off yet where I'm at, but I love this camouflage. I love this combo. Okay, Desert Storm, Black Hawk Down, it just screams that. I think I've said, like I said before, I love the 19 like end of, you know, like Vietnam, starting in Vietnam to like 2010. That's my favorite time period for your kit. I think there was a lot done there. There was a lot of cool stuff. Definitely my favorite. Maybe not the most high speed by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, taking what they've did in Vietnam, now, you know, what they did in Desert Storm and the Gulf War, what they did in the Middle East. One thing that really stayed true was some sort of load-bearing kit. Okay, and this can go over armor. This has not changed a whole lot. You know, what you see, the only difference, what you see, guys, they'll have a load-bearing kit, they'll have their belt, they'll have the H-strap, and they'll probably have a chest rig of some kind. Okay, they did this literally back in the late 80s. Okay, so the concept isn't new. It stayed the same. You know, I will say, are these better than a chest rig? I think it is. It's an all-in-one kit. But that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you watching, and let me know how you like the kit. Thanks.